Hi, I'm Kathy O'Hare, First Year Experience Coordinator for UTS, and the topic for this forum was student engagement. We had a keynote from New Zealand actually. Dr. Ella Karhu came, her thesis is on student engagement, and she spoke to us about ways to engage first year students and the importance of what we do in our practice to support those students to be engaged. She talked about the relevance of the material we teach, how that engages the student, our own interaction with the students, and then the activities we design for our students.
Really important that we recognise that while I call this a framework of student engagement, it's equally a framework of student disengagement. So a student who doesn't do well and therefore feels incredible disappointment and heartbreak and feels like they don't know what they're doing and they can't do it is going to be less motivated next time round and engage less, and therefore can get into an equally spiral but a negative one. So it's a framework of both engagement and disengagement.
Once Ella had finished her talk, we decided to get everybody in the room engaged in the topic that Ella was talking about and look at people's own work in situational engagement. So what did they do in their practice, whether in the classroom or whether they did in their support roles working with students. We got people to work in small groups and then record the information on Mentimeter, a little web tool, and we recorded that and we could see everybody's comments. We had a short break and then we had presentations from 3 first year grant holders they each told us they were quite different in their practice. One engaged students in technology and lectures, one engaged students with virtual reality and understanding 3D or changing 2D diagrams into 3D, and the other one was engaging students in reflections and practices and peer review, and they involved the library and activities, so very powerful.
So what we want to do is we want to get all students participating and engaging in class through using this system. So we use this in the large introductory accounting lectures, up to 400 students in that lecture, and it allows us to provide a forum or a system where all students can actually participate in the system and they can get some sort of formative feedback. I can also see how they're going with different concepts and I can tailor the lecture to their needs.
So the question that we set out to answer with our grant was effectively, can we use this new technology that's been introduced that has been generated through gaming to help students get a better understanding of their own design projects, but two, the size that particular architectural elements should be represented at.
So we redeveloped the workshops, and what we did before introducing this to the students, we ran a pre-session meeting prior to each session where we paid the teaching associates to come in, and we told them the rationale behind our first year experience grant.
So for the last activity of the day, we brought everyone together just to think about basically to find out what they learnt from the day and to think about practices, new practices that they might bring into their classroom next year or create in their support roles, or if they weren't engaged in thinking about, if they were tired, we're thinking about what practices they could do themselves to engage themselves. Thank you everyone for coming to the forums over the year. We've had a lot of people engaged in them and sometimes over 100, 120 people in the room. So we welcome that diversity in the room and that sharing of practice. Next year we're hoping that we will continue the rounds and we have our first forum in February. Thank you.